Hey everybody, welcome to my Penny Go Boom. It's been a long while since I've done some videos here. So, I'm going to start doing some videos. People have been asking me why I haven't been doing any in a while. And honestly, I've just been lazy. So, here we go. So, we're going to be taking a look at Apple. So, for last year and many of the previous years, I've been doing a lot of penny stocks and whatnot. Did quite well last year, but for 2015, I'm really actually just going to only be trading options instead. But still, some of the charts here that we're looking at obviously pertain to the same kind of ideas. So what we're looking at right here is a one-day chart for Apple. So you can see here on Friday we had we had touched the so we made a new high here at 120 and was just touched 120. A couple back in December 1st here, you can see that the high over here was around 119. So came back up, tested that high, broke through a little bit, and then towards the end of the day, we'll get into a different kind of chart in a minute, but the stock completely fell apart towards the end of the day. A lot of people freaking out, going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do going into next week? Well, that's why I'm starting here with the one-day chart. Let's point out some of the things that are still intact. Now, when you look at the one-day chart here, you'll see that we're still putting in higher lows. So the stock closed right here in after hours like 117.27, I believe was the last trade, which is also right at this support resistance area. It's kind of flirting right with it. But some of the good things to look at is, one, this yellow line, this 50-day simple moving average, we're still well above that. The 5-day simple moving average is still well above this pink one, the 10-day simple moving average. So that looks really nicely. That's still going up nice and sharp, and so same thing. It's kind of crossing over. The 10's getting ready to cross on the 50 as well. And I've talked about this many times in some of my prior videos. Is this upper Bollinger Band? Now the reason I want to point that out is, if you look back over here, back in what month we're in here, November, October going into November. I'm sorry, November to December. When the price rides this upper Bollinger Band, like when it kind of stays right on that line, the stock typically likes to continue to rise. And then you can see when the stock fell off of this upper Bollinger Band, this price here at around 118.90 or so acted as resistance. So when it fell off, the upper Bollinger kind of fought here. Then I knew it was time to get out after like a couple days, and luckily I did. And when it did fall down, you can see it fell to this support level. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because you can see the price here is starting again for the first time in a couple months, is starting to ride this upper Bollinger Band. So going into Monday, if this price can continue to ride this upper Bollinger, the 5 and all this can stay above, the chart is still intact. So it's still an uptrend. For a lot of people, were freaking out that it was, it literally fell from essentially 120 down to like 116 and change, all within the last 90 minutes of trading. Still remember that the stock is still in uptrend. I think, personally, it kind of gave the stock a chance to breathe a little bit. But we're going to take a look at that. So on the one-day chart, again, 117.27, this is that support resistance we need to break up above. And, one of the next, I'll say the next, but some of the bigger ones to take a look at are like 115 and also right here around 116. But, if we can stay here, we're going to continue to go back up. Then the big, again, major resistance on the next level here, if we can keep it up, is, again, the 119 level. If we look at the MACD, you can see here now on this big rise here back in December, the MACD was like, on the signal line, it was like, really pushing off the charts. It needed to breathe and come down a little bit, and like it did. So, but you can see here, even on this rise, even though we hit 119, you can see that the MACD is starting to pull back up, pull up above again. So yes, on the histogram, we are at those kind of levels where it did pull back over here, but I do like how this is signaling up still. So again, on the one-day chart, a lot of the indicators are all still intact. So very positive outlook on the one-day chart. Now let's take a look at the 30-minute chart from Friday. This is the one that I'm going to be taking a look at on Monday in particular. Now the reason being is because you can see here on the volume, the last 30 minutes was just, it's no secret, it was a straight bloodbath. That was a lot of people getting out of the stock, really coming down. But this yellow line, the 50-day simple moving average here, this is where I believe that the biggest support really is. And this is, if this gets tested, this is where I'm going to make some decisions right here. So right around, oh God, I don't really know what this price is here. It looks like it's like, we'll just call it 16.25. That's just a rough estimate. So, if the price comes down to here, I'm going to look to see, is it going to bounce off of this line, or is it going to break down below? If it breaks down below, then I might be looking to plus or minus a little bit. If it comes down here, I might be looking to get out and wait for a re-entry. But other than that, if it bounces off this line, then if it gets down here, this is where I'm going to look to see if it bounces from. Remember, this is just on Friday's action right here. Each one of these is 30 minutes. So you can see in the morning, the 5 was still above the 10. So when the stock had rose to 120, at that point, I still had not sold out at that time. So I stood in thinking, okay, well, let's see if it hits 120 again. So the stock had gone up, it came down, and it started to come down. I was like, okay, well, I was still in at this point, thinking we're only an hour into the day. So the 5 was still above the 10, but you can see here it kind of was trading sideways for about an hour and a half. The 5 still getting closer to this 10, and then it still had a hard time breaking above this. And then again, it still, even though it was trading down, it was like trading down sideways, slow a little bit. The 5, right when it was about to fall below, it kind of tried to do a little push. And then right when I saw the 5 fall below this 10, that's when I got out. I knew, what, sure, I could have sold here at 120, but it's probably best to try and get out right here. And good thing I did, because you can see right when the 5 fell below the 10, that's when things really started to fall apart. So I was able to use the 5 and 10-day simple moving average to essentially save me a lot of money. So again, I do think that this was a little overextended at the end of the day. This was a really high volume. This could be a leading indicator, meaning Monday could continue to get bloody. But I'm willing to think that I think this was a little too overextended, to be quite honest with you. That's just my opinion, of course. And on the MACD, you can see that it had gone from the 0 line. You always want to try and be above the 0 line, and then it not only did it break the 0 line, it just was way overextended down here. So again, I think this was a little overextended, too much selling into the end. I think this is going to reverse. Depending on how the markets do Monday, I think this is going to really start to bounce right off of this line. So with that said, I'm looking, right now I'm currently looking at some 118, 119 calls if this can reverse itself. So, again, on the one-day chart, everything is looking intact. Stock did breathe a little bit, but still riding that upper Bollinger. All these indicators are all still healthy. So, let's take a look Monday, but I anticipate that this is going to try and bounce off around this area. If it continues to go down, then, start to make new highs. But, again, we'll find out. So hope this was helpful. Please follow me on Twitter at mypennygoboom. Please subscribe to my video channel, and I will continue to be updating Apple throughout the week, since I'm going to be vested in this one. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Thank you.